when we started talking about the artwork, it was definitely a different space for me. January, I started getting these bizarre anxiety attacks.
Really?
Yeah, they were crazy. I never experienced anything like that before. I couldn't work. I had multiple anxiety attacks a day. It was like 10 to 20. And it was in connection with some health issues, but it was a crazy season. Have you had anything quite like that before?
Yes. Okay. So yeah. So what happened was like my personal process with anxiety was I hadn't done a commission for years, had been very stuck in front, like expressing anything creatively for a long time because I was just working full time and in a different zone, you know. And then when you asked me to do this project, like it just resonated with me, and I was like, yes, that seems like an honor to be asked and to do. So I'm like, yeah. When you gave me like, actually, now's the time, I was like, okay, now is the time. So now I'll actually hone in on work on this. I felt all of a sudden all this resistance and like all this like stress, I think. So, and then during that time, like I had just went on medical leave for EI and stuff too. So I'm like, well, I had the time and everything is like working out. And then we had this like moment where it was like the phrase "cover me" was really highlighted to both of us. And I was like, wow, Holy Spirit, like you're really like giving us unity in this project. And this feels like a real collaboration. So I knew it was like really important. And then I had this major anxiety panic attack where I woke up, right? I couldn't breathe. Like I just like had to do like these breathing exercises that my counselor taught me. Like I was just doing these deep breathing. I was trying to eat breakfast and I was like just freaking out inside. And I was like, what is happening? And then I finished my breakfast and then I came upstairs to my bedroom and I was just so exhausted. And I just fell asleep for 6 hours. Like I just like slept for 6 hours. Yeah, when I woke up, I was like, okay, I just need to like relax. For some reason, I don't know, I don't remember the exact thought process, but I just had to bring, like these fears came up of like, this is my only time to be an artist. Like I felt like this quarantine time with being on EI and pandemic and isolation is giving me this gift to have no financial responsibility and have to stay home. So it was like, it's like I have to stay home and then I have to make the most of this time. So I was like, oh, I have to be like painting all the time. I have to like do all this stuff and like really like, you know, I just was like disciplining myself too much and like just putting all this stress on myself to not waste this time. Yeah, it was motivating, but it was like a pressure that was motivating me instead of a pleasure and a joy. And I was gonna burn out, like it was gonna be crazy. And obviously I was having anxiety attacks. So I had to just bring that to the cross, this fear, and I had to accept the truth that, Erin, like your vocation is to be who you are, and that is an artist, and to accept the way the Lord's made me, and to accept the moment right now and not put any pressure on the future or like don't mourn the end of it when it's not over yet, you know, like just be there. That was a really important part of my heart, just coming to rest, which really plays into your song, like the rest, like, you know, covering and rest. I was reading this book and there was this chapter about lies. And one of the lies was that you're not good enough. And then the Lord just spoke to me about how I've been trying to prove myself by painting really like skillfully, which is like a good thing, right? But you can take it too far and be like, I have to prove myself. You have to think that I'm credible as an artist by seeing like this representational art or whatever. And I was like thinking about like really realistic images, like the candle and the hands, and like trying to like really just do like what I usually do, which is more realism, but a little bit impressionism, but mostly realism.
You'd send me some examples of what you're working on, and I'm like, okay, I've got this dark flame, you know, in this red and black, and I'm like, okay, like I think I can make this work, and I'm already like processing how I'm going to make this look in artwork. Do I want to frame it and put it into a single? And I'm like, okay. Right. And then when you're like, okay, I totally went a different direction. I was like, okay, let's see what. And then it was just like, you have got to be kidding me. This is like bang on. Like,
what I'm realizing in my own process is that I have to explore the idea that comes like first. I have to go down that in order to get to the next step, because I feel like there's like ideas, and then there is the idea. So there's like these levels of ideas. So like that was kind of like the candle and the light and the flame work that led me to like the final image. But I had to go down that route to get to the next one. I sent you the picture of like the flame or whatever, and you're like, "Are you happy with it?" I'm like, "Yep." Because it was in itself, it was like I was like happy with the execution of the painting.
Yeah.
But then I just thought, no, it's not the right image. It's just not right. Like, and I was showing my roommates and stuff. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's really cool," you know. I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty sweet," but and then in my heart, I was like, "No, it's not right." So this is so neat because we know each other from CBC, and in worship, there's that moon painting with the sailboat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. Okay. It was almost like telling a story. Like I was asking like, what's at the boat? And so I saw new images about this spiritual landscape. Was reminded of that. And then the Lord was like, paint from your imagination. And I was like, oh, great. that's obviously that's in line with what being creative is about. So it's like, okay. So then this like new image, like with what I showed you, came to mind right away in like a simple sketch, and I just went with it, and painting became fun again because it was like, oh, I don't have to like really like stress about the lighting or like this or that, like all these like technical things. I can just do what's in my head, in my heart. So that's why like it was so cool when you were like, this is right in line, and like the blues and like your ocean theme with your lyric video and everything, like, and I was just like blown away by like, you know, God is really just affirming that he's working with both of us and communicating with us what we both need to learn and do and give to the world and what we can contribute. So yeah, that was pretty insane. And
it was crazy. It's such a neat picture too, though. Like I always love that kind of art style, which we still don't think has a name.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was like
yeah.
you know, as Jay who produced the track and I are talking about it, we kind of realized there's this almost like this comforting level that's almost lullaby territory. And then when you painted that, it has this children's book element to it. That is just, it was just like, this is perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for.
Wow, that's cool that you saw that, because I've also been like, yeah, it's like kind of whimsical, and my friends actually bought the original 3 paintings from this series, and they just fell in love with it because it reminded them of a fairy tale.
It just got something beautiful about it. I think that, and you have an expression that's inside you that is gentle.
You made some like certain comments like in your like messages about like, just be yourself, Erin. Like just I just want something that's you. At the beginning I was like, oh, but this is about you, like this is about your project. I was actually a little bit offended. I like
sorry,
like, oh, I know that he wants, I know, like I was so detached from myself at that moment because of my current like stuff, like working and like just being far away from that place. And so I wasn't offended at you, I was offended at like, now the Lord is actually like convicting my heart to like actually be myself. And I was like, I don't want you. I just resist it. I don't know what's up with that.
It is tricky because when you do stuff by commission, or when you do things that people say, hey, I'd like you to make this for me, it typically is like, here's your direction, and you work within the confines of the box. Where for me, that's I don't really see that's artistry. I think that's a job. In a lot of ways. For the project, is like, I will more go the direction of a patronage. Like if there's a way I can pay you to do what you love to do, that is what's edifying to me.
Yeah, a lot of the times in the past, commission work has been like me trying to get into someone else's head. like to say like what do they want, because even though like they can say, oh yeah, do whatever you want, but really they have a specific thing that they can't articulate to me.
Well, it is that tricky thing, because it's like a lot of the time there's some kind of, I don't know, I don't want to call it agenda, but there is that. Like, it's like, hey, just do what you want, but then you give them that, and they're like, well, it wasn't what I was hoping for, and
Yeah,
you're
you're
pulling
like,
your hair out because you're like, you didn't give me that direction when you said this.
It's really cool to see how like you release the trust to me, and the Holy Spirit works to create like just bring unity, and that really blows my mind.
The Erin Martens original. Oh man, I'm so glad you're keeping it. I'd feel bad taking it off your hands. I would be like, no, it's too pretty.
Oh my goodness.
Could I get you to describe it a little bit?
I'd say it's like a visualization. I can't say that. Visualization of an inner landscape, like a physical representation of a spiritual reality. These lilies that fall from the sky. To me, they represent like the bridge between the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of earth. And in them, I feel like the figure is being like wrapped and like held by them, like a caress on the face, you know? So I feel like that is what the gentleness and the comfort of the Holy Spirit is like. And then he's like reaching out for lights, like these are little like flames, this light, like the light of hope, Christ, that's accessible to us. Like we can reach out and we can take hold of it, because we see it in others. When you see it and you taste it and you see like other people experiencing the joy of the Lord and the stuff, and you want that. Like when you say, cover me with the same thing, I see like these coverings, like hills, just like shelters. I was kind of shocked that I did like the face of like kind of an old man, especially in like the original one. He looks definitely more like a Santa Claus figure or something.
Yeah.
Very serene, just very peaceful. It does reminisce, like make me think of like end of life kind of death almost.
In some ways it is kind of neat that it is an older person, because I think as we get older, we realize the frailty of our own lives. And I think for those that are much older than we are, they constantly face that way more often than we do. Like
I see this like generations then, because this looks like a very young person. It speaks of like the peace available for all.
For me, it gave me a huge amount of comfort, because it reminded me of my upbringing of children's books. The design, the style of whatever that style is, it is so comforting for me.
When you sent me the lyric video and just saw the water covering over the rocks, like I just nailed it all down for me. It was like there's this beautiful imagery and peace and calm. When I listen to the lyrics and the music together, it just helps me set the direction and my gaze back on Jesus. The authenticity of acknowledging that we don't have all of it yet, like we're not there yet, but we have this longing and have to trust that he'll meet us in that and fulfill our longing for him. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you again for doing this. I really appreciate it.
It's an honor to be a part of it. So I want to thank you, Luke, and bless you. Oh. And want to let you also know that after doing this one, I've done 4 or 5 more. So
I've
been on a roll, and it's just been flowing, and it's been really offensive to my ego.
Oh, good.
Which is great, yeah. And but
well, hey, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
You're at war with yourself, so that's a good.
I know.
That's a good muse right there, right? So.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah.
Oh, well, I can't wait to see what else you create, because my gosh, you're one of my favorite artists. So.
Wow.
Keep going.
Thanks, Luke. You too. More music.
Okay. We'll talk.
Nice chatting to you.
It's good talking to you too, Erin. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good.